What's the best case scenario? Why this simple question flip can literally rewire your brain and open entirely new realities. Hello, you amazing human. Have you ever caught yourself spiraling into worst case scenario thinking? You know that mental movie where everything goes wrong, everyone judges you, and your life basically falls apart? What if I told you that every time you do this, you're actually training your brain to create more of what you don't want? But here's the beautiful thing. You can flip this script with one simple question that has the power to literally rewire your neural pathways and open up entirely new realities. Today, I'd love to invite you to explore what happens when, instead of asking, what could go wrong, we start asking, what's the best case scenario that could happen? First, let's understand what's happening in your brain when you catastrophize. Modern research in neuroscience reveals that our brains give more weight to negative possibilities than positive ones. This bias served our ancestors well when survival depended on spotting threats, but it can overpower rational thinking. Every time you imagine disaster, you're literally strengthening those neural pathways, making it easier for your brain to go there again. Dr. Joe Dispenza's research shows us something absolutely fascinating about this process. As we focus on certain experiences or thoughts, the underlying neural pathways strengthen, becoming stronger. Unused connections and pathways weaken and, over time, disappear. Thoughts and behaviours we repeat become stronger, and conversely, thoughts and behaviours we do not practice frequently become weaker. So when you repeatedly rehearse worst-case scenarios, you're essentially programming your brain to expect disaster. But here's where it gets really interesting. Your brain doesn't actually know the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. When you catastrophize, your nervous system responds as if the threat is actually happening right now. But what if we could use this same neuroplasticity principle to our advantage? What if instead of rehearsing disaster, we started rehearsing miracles? This is where the best case scenario question becomes a game changer. When you ask yourself, what's the best case scenario? And really feel into it, you're doing exactly what Joe Dispenza calls mental rehearsal of your future. Dispenza suggests using visualization and meditation to create new, positive mental images. These practices can help us to rewire our brains and create new neural pathways, leading to lasting change. Let me give you a real example. Instead of thinking, what if I mess up this presentation and everyone thinks I'm incompetent? You flip it. What if this presentation goes amazingly well? What if my ideas inspire people? What if this leads to incredible opportunities I can't even imagine yet? But here's the key. You don't just think it, you feel it. You let yourself experience the excitement, the pride, the joy of that best case scenario as if it's happening right now. The formula is a combination of brain coherence and heart coherence. When you combine these two techniques, you can change your mind, your body, and ultimately, your life. Abraham Hicks teaches us that we're always creating our future through the thoughts we think today. When we consistently imagine worst-case scenarios, we're sending out a vibrational signal that attracts more experiences to worry about. But when we flip to best-case thinking, we align with the frequency of positive possibilities. Now, I know what your logical mind might be saying, but isn't this just unrealistic positive thinking? Shouldn't I be prepared for things to go wrong? And here's the beautiful thing. Asking, what's the best case scenario doesn't mean ignoring practical considerations. It means shifting your mental default from disaster to possibility. Harvard Business Review research shows us that catastrophizing is particularly common among young adults between the ages of 18 and 35, because the part of the brain that deals with uncertainties is still developing during this time. To overcome catastrophic thinking, they recommend imagining both your best and worst case scenario, realizing that both are often extreme fantasies, and understanding that reality is usually somewhere in the middle. But I'd love to take this further. What if reality doesn't have to be in the middle? What if by consistently focusing on and feeling into best case scenarios, we actually increase the probability of positive outcomes? Quantum physics suggests that consciousness affects reality at the fundamental level. When you observe something, you collapse the wave function of possibilities into a specific outcome. So when you're constantly observing potential disasters, you might actually be collapsing possibilities into more challenging experiences. Dr. Joe Dispenza's research with thousands of meditation participants shows measurable changes in brain scans where people consistently practice visualizing and feeling their desired futures. The evidence demonstrates there is a clear formula for creating lasting changes in the body and mind. They're literally rewiring their brains for success, health, and happiness. Here's how you can start implementing this best case scenario practice. First, catch yourself when you're spiraling into worst case thinking. Instead of fighting those thoughts, just notice them with compassion. Oh, there's my brain trying to protect me by imagining problems. Then gently ask yourself, what's the best case scenario here? Let your imagination run wild. Don't worry about being realistic. Your brain needs to feel the full emotional impact of possibility to create new neural pathways. Really feel into that best case scenario. What would it feel like in your body? What emotions would you experience? How would you move through the world if this best outcome happened? Spend at least 20 to 30 seconds really savouring these feelings. For my beautiful ADHD minds, this technique can be particularly powerful because it works with your brain's natural pattern shifting abilities. If your mind wanders while visualizing, that's perfect. Just gently guide it back to the best case feeling when you remember. Your neurodivergent brain is actually brilliant at creating new neural pathways quickly. The key is consistency. Every time you catch yourself catastrophizing, flip to best case scenario thinking. You're literally rewiring your brain's default programming from fear-based to possibility-based. What's fascinating is that this practice often leads to what Abraham calls inspired action. When you're aligned with best-case scenarios, you start noticing opportunities you would have missed while focused on problems. You make different choices, take different actions, and create different results. I also love how this connects to the spiritual principle of faith. Faith isn't just believing in something without evidence. It's choosing to focus on positive possibilities, even when you can't see the path yet. It's trusting that the universe is always conspiring in your favour, even when appearances suggest otherwise. Remember, you're not trying to control outcomes by thinking positively. You're aligning your frequency with what you want to experience, which makes you a magnet for opportunities, ideas, and synchronicities that support your best-case scenarios. The research shows that people who regularly practice positive visualization and emotional rehearsal of desired outcomes have measurably different brain patterns, hormone levels, and even gene expression compared to those who constantly rehearse worst-case scenarios. So I invite you to start this practice today. The next time you catch your mind spinning disaster stories, pause and ask, what's the best-case scenario? Then really feel into it. Let yourself get excited about it, and watch how this simple shift starts opening doors you never even knew existed. Your brain is incredibly plastic. It's constantly rewiring itself based on where you focus your attention. Why not focus on creating neural pathways that lead to your dreams rather than your fears? What best case scenario are you going to start rehearsing today? Thank you so much for watching. If this resonates, drop us a heart to show you have made it till the end. These videos are made as a guide to help you reconnect with knowledge kept within you. Take what resonates within you and release the rest. Follow the page for more content, or buy my 100 Messages from the Universe book for daily guidance. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep shining your light.